Chosen one, stop everything you are doing right now. Whatever brought you here today was not random. It was not the algorithm. It was not luck. This moment was arranged before you even woke up this morning. There is something that has been deliberately kept from you, a truth so deeply buried beneath the noise of your life that you have almost stopped looking for it. But today that silence ends. What I am about to walk you through in the next few minutes will change the way you understand everything you have been going through. Every unanswered question, every closed door, every night you sat alone wondering if anyone even noticed you were struggling. None of it was wasted. Stay with me through every single second of this message, because what is coming will reframe your entire story. Do not scroll away. Your future self needs you to hear this right now. I know what this week has felt like for you. It has not just been quiet, it has been pressurized, like something enormous is sitting right on the edge of being spoken, and the atmosphere itself is holding its breath. Maybe you have been carrying a question for weeks, maybe months, and this week the weight of not knowing finally became unbearable. Maybe you found yourself sitting in complete silence yesterday, not because you were at peace, but because you were exhausted from all the thinking, all the processing, all the trying to understand what has really been happening beneath the surface of your life. Or maybe you woke up at 3 in the morning and instead of fear, what you felt was a deep, unsettled hunger, like your spirit knew something was about to be revealed and it could not wait until morning. You have been given pieces but never the full picture. And in that space of not knowing, a voice has been whispering a very specific lie. It has been telling you that the reason you still do not have clarity is because you are not ready for it. Hear me clearly. That voice is wrong. Here is what has been hidden beneath the surface of your story. You were not chosen because you were the strongest or the most qualified. You were not selected because your faith was consistent or your prayers were perfectly timed. Before the first dawn broke upon your life, before you made a single decision, before the first whisper of doubt ever crossed your mind, heaven had already written your name into the assignment with divine ink and eternal purpose. This was not a conditional choice. This was an irrevocable decree. And the enemy knows that the only way to keep you from walking in it is to make you forget it ever happened. His greatest strategy has never been to destroy you with visible attacks. It has been to erase from your heart the memory of your own chosenness. Because a chosen one who does not know they are chosen stays small. They walk through life asking permission they do not need for doors that were already opened by grace. They spend entire seasons apologizing for a disqualification that never existed. That agreement with smallness ends right here. Think about the story of Gideon. When the angel of the Lord found him, he was not standing on a mountaintop with raised hands leading an army into battle. He was hiding in a wine press, threshing wheat in secret because he was terrified of the Midianites who had been crushing his people for 7 years. His nation was starving. His family was the weakest clan in all of Manasseh, and he considered himself the least in his own household. Everything about his circumstances screamed insignificance, and yet the angel did not correct his posture. He did not rebuke his fear or demand a more courageous stance. He looked directly at this trembling, hiding man and declared, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." He called Gideon what heaven already knew him to be, not what his fear or his situation had been telling him he was. God spoke to identity before he ever addressed the circumstance. He did not give Gideon a strategy first. He did not hand him a battle plan. He spoke to who Gideon was and let the truth of that identity become the foundation for everything that followed. That is exactly what is happening to you in this moment. Heaven is bypassing your struggle and speaking directly to the seed of purpose already planted inside you. Now let me reframe the silence you have been living inside. There is a profound difference between a delay and a divine pause. A delay means something went wrong, a schedule interrupted, a plan derailed. But a divine pause means something of such magnitude is being prepared that it requires more time than your impatience is comfortable with, and the enemy has been counting on you not knowing that difference. Consider Joseph. He did not go from the pit to the palace in a single leap. He went from betrayal by his own brothers at 17 to slavery in a foreign house, to false accusation by the woman he faithfully served, to a prison cell where the one man who could have freed him forgot his name for 2 full years. At every stage it looked like the dream had died. But here is what most people miss. Even in that prison, Joseph never stopped functioning. He interpreted dreams for strangers who had no power to help him. He kept using his gift in a place that had no visible connection to his destiny. And that quiet faithfulness in the hidden place is exactly what was remembered when Pharaoh needed someone who could hear from God. 13 years from the pit to the throne. Your hidden place is not outside your story. It is where the most crucial chapter is being written right now. Now I need you to hear this next part with everything in you, because this is where the cycle finally breaks. There has been a pattern running beneath your life that you have probably mislabeled as bad luck or spiritual attack or personal failure. But it is none of those things. It is a cycle. And cycles are not punishment. They are unbroken agreements. Every time you have come close to a major shift, something familiar has risen up to meet you. A voice, an old fear, a narrative so deeply woven into your thinking that it sounds reasonable. It says, I have hoped before and been let down, so this time I will believe a little less so the fall will not hurt as much. Let me be clear, that is not wisdom. That is a wound protecting itself by calling itself wisdom. It is the scar tissue of past disappointment dictating the terms of your future. And faith that constantly braces for failure has already stopped being faith. It has become risk management. God cannot release what he has prepared for you into hands that are already positioned to catch nothing. After Elijah called fire from heaven and defeated 450 prophets of Baal in the most spectacular display of divine power recorded in Scripture, he did not celebrate. He collapsed. He ran into the wilderness, sat under a juniper tree, and begged God to take his life. The man who had just split the sky with prayer was now asking to die. And God did not rebuke him. He did not send a fresh vision or a new assignment. He sent an angel with bread and water. Then he let Elijah sleep. Then he let him sleep again. The angel returned and said, Arise and eat, for the journey is too great for you. That was not an insult. That was a diagnosis. What followed that rest was the still, small voice. Not the earthquake, not the fire, not the mighty wind, a whisper. And if Elijah had stayed in his exhaustion, he would have been too loud inside to hear the most important word God had ever spoken to him. Your tiredness has not been punishment. It has been preparation. God has been waiting for the noise inside you to settle so you can finally hear what he has been trying to say. There is a version of seeking God that looks like surrender but is actually control. It comes with open hands but a decided mind. It prays for guidance but only accepts answers that confirm what it already wants to be true. And the reason behind this is not wickedness. It is fear. The fear that if you fully release your grip on how you think your story should unfold, you might not like what God actually says. Consider Abraham on Mount Moriah. He did not fully receive the promise of Isaac until he demonstrated that he was willing to give Isaac back. The moment his hand released the knife, the ram appeared in the thicket. It was already there, waiting for his grip to loosen. Your provision is already prepared, but it cannot manifest while your fist is clenched around a specific outcome so tightly that you can no longer feel the hand of God in yours. And here is the deepest layer. The thing that has truly been blocking your next season is not the enemy. It is not your past. It is a false definition of worthiness that you constructed during your most painful chapter and never brought into the light. You became both the defendant and the prosecutor in your own internal courtroom. Tonight, that trial ends. Place your hand on your heart and speak this with me now. I release the grip. I release the false case I built against myself in the courtroom of my own mind. I release the demand that my breakthrough must look a certain way or arrive on a timeline I can control. I release the wound that made me believe I was not worthy of what God has already declared over my life. I open my hands fully. I open my heart fully. I receive my identity as it was written in heaven before I ever had the chance to question it. I am not disqualified. I am not forgotten. I am not behind. I am exactly where I need to be in the exact moment I was created for. The cycle breaks today. The The agreement with the old story ends right now. I step into this new season without apology and without the weight of a narrative that was never mine to carry. If this message reached something deep inside you, share it with someone who has been sitting in their own silence this week. This word was not given to you to keep. It was given to you to release.